All right, great morning to you. Wendell with me on the computer over here, and we're trying to figure out how to get him on here. So we're just going to give it a minute and see if he gets his invite to join. Refresh your screen. Maybe you'll get it after refreshing. Did you get it? Perfect. There we go. And now I have to accept you right here. Perfect. All right, we're bringing Wendell on camera. And we got it done. Great morning to you, Wendell. I'm just shutting us down on the other computer. Just so, great morning to you.
Good morning to you. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. I think your volume.
Can you turn up your volume though? Because it's very hard to hear you over
Now
here.
I hear you. I think it was just because the lines were crossing as you disconnected the other one. So you can hear
Okay,
me
cool. Yeah, now I
right?
can hear you better. How's it going?
Good. And now I'm getting this request to join Tobi's broadcast. I think it was just a little glitch or something.
There's a glitch, eh? That's the universe going, okay, how bad do you guys want to talk?
Either that or they know how powerful our connection is and what we're talking about, and the dark forces don't want to see that, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All kinds of negativity and gravitational pull will try to bring us back down to that density. You know, because what's happening also too was a test for me because I'll be honest with you, I hate to wait. I am one person that hates to wait. I like instant gratification right now, right? So
Yeah.
even having to try to fix these glitches for me, I have to go, I'm okay, and all is okay. Woo saw, and it's going to be a great day. You know what I mean? Because I'm so quick to flap the handle and go, you know? So that's why it's good for me because it's, no, Toby, be your loving being towards yourself. It makes me practice everything I'm preaching, right?
There you go. There you go. Perfect practice.
So I don't know if you got a chance to see the website, but I
I
just
looked.
want to, pardon?
I looked. I said I looked a bit at it, but I didn't. I didn't really see like my stuff up there yet because I wasn't really. I didn't really have a chance to like really go deep into the website. I just
Okay,
kind
well,
of.
there's no deep having to go into the website. If you go to the home page, the About Us page, and the main page, when you scroll down underneath the woman crossing the bridge, and I've redone the blurb on the top. I've rewritten the whole page. I've put a meet the team with a slideshow of all of us with a blurb. So you got to kind of check that out and see if your write-up's correct and how you like the presentation.
I'll definitely check that
And
out.
yeah, I've made huge advancements, so I need your feedback, okay? But I've sent everybody an email, a team email, to keep everybody on the same page.
Okay, perfect.
So what kind of feathers are you ruffling on your end with these lives?
Feathers on my end.
Yeah,
Um,
kind of
it's
feedback are you getting?
it's funny because it seems like some people aren't really like I don't know if it's like they and this is how it is with my network anyways they'll watch something quickly. I guess a lot of my peoples are busy, right? Because they just check it quickly and then they peace out, but they don't really say, and then there was one person. I asked him, I said, what do you think of the video, and he's like, oh well, I had to go and take care of something, so I didn't really watch the whole thing, but I watched a bit of it.
Okay. Now, can I explain to you why?
Why?
That is their subconscious brain not accepting the suggestions because they're stuck in their belief systems.
But
I
I actually had one positive person. She said that she really likes our energy, and she likes like how things are. She's actually getting a little bit of not healing per se, but she told me, she said, the way you guys talk, it's good because I get a better understanding of what it is that you guys are talking
Yeah,
about. So And I mean, she like her comment kind of really matters because it's like she's real about it,
Yes.
basically. So to answer your question, I have been getting positive feedback. It's just that I haven't really heard from a lot of people yet because
Well, you
I'm
know
trying
what?
to.
I encourage all feedback. I want the negative and the positive, but I want you to not be discouraged by people that are telling you that are busy and that are distracted with their life. All that tells you, listen to what people are telling you, because that what that tells you is they are distracted from inner work. They're not prepared for it. They're not open to it yet. So you can't shove it down their throat. But the people that really are feeling the difference are here. Okay. And it's
Do you,
hard to talk about transformation when we're feeling it, right?
absolutely. So do you have like the control on your volume? Because it seems like I can't put my volume up and down, and you're coming out like really like not distorted loud, but you're pretty high on the.
Well, I'm loud in nature. So I'll tone it down. I'm loud. My
No,
words are heard, felt, and trust me.
no, I know that, but I'm just saying like it just sounds it just sounds like the volume is a little bit piercing on my phone. That's all.
Yeah, it is
Does that
piercing. It is
okay?
piercing probably this morning because I was right over my phone. Okay, so guess what?
What?
I got to drop a bomb on you. Can I
Oh,
do it on live?
sure, as long as you're not gonna blow up a country or anything. But go ahead.
No, no, never, never, never. Not like that. Not like that. Okay. I want some insight this morning.
Okay,
Okay. Man's perspective.
okay,
Okay.
fun.
So since we're talking about the Adam and versus Eve and stuff, and I also put on your blurb that you're the founder of that discussion forum and
Okay,
stuff
thank
like that. And I really want to go with it at least once a week, try to get a couple of people together and just go with it. But I did a live this morning on healing. Okay. And the importance of healing and the importance of people looking at their inner work and taking it seriously, because this is all of their thoughts of their life and their experiences based on all of this stuff, right? And that it's a process and it doesn't get fixed all in one shot and everything.
you. True,
But
that's true.
interpersonal relationships are really, really important, and we have them all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
What I'd like you to, I want you to tell the ladies that are listening and the women that are evolving
Hmm.
what they need to look out for and steer clear of when it comes to men with dating.
Oh, okay.
And I
Um,
want you to get raw and real with it. And I
I'll get
want you to disclose all the nitty gritty stuff that women need to know from a man
okay.
speaking it.
Okay. Let's see. I think I have this written down somewhere, but let me just check quickly. Okay,
Are you
so
down for that, Wendell?
I'm down for anything,
Right
honestly.
on. So let's get raw, real, and real nitty gritty.
Real nitty gritty. Okay, so now when it's funny because I did a video about this a while ago. I think it was called choosing your partner, and it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same thing that I'm gonna break down here.
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you before you start. I haven't seen any of your videos. I've been told about them, but I've been so directed with focus on building what we're building that I haven't looked back. So I would appreciate, I'm building a media gallery on the site. I would like all those videos to be uploaded to the site, just to let you know. But I have to be honest, I haven't seen any.
Okay,
So if you're anticipating me to have any kind of knowledge of the one you didn't know, I don't. So speak to me as if I've never seen any of your videos, okay?
perfect. So okay, so you want to know women want to know what to look out for in
What I
people.
want to know is I want you to bear it all for women. I want you to tell women how shitty men can really be.
Okay,
That's it, they need to know so that their belief systems get altered,
right.
and to what extent a man will go to keep you trapped.
Okay. So Um, yeah. So if a man is if a man is interested in a woman, right? Now, women have a tendency of misinterpreting a man's intention when they're coming into the dating realm, right? So not all men, but most men, um, because of their own personal insecurity, if they feel that they can tell you something that maybe can make the woman believe that they're a good person, they're gonna say it or they're gonna do it, right? Don't get. I'm not saying that all men are fakes or anything, but I'm just saying that sometimes the ill intentions of men sometimes are just to say whatever you want to hear so that they get into your space. Now, once they've gotten into your space, the ones who are looking to manipulate you are pretty much feeling you out. So they'll play the role. They'll say, they'll agree with everything you say. They'll help you with certain things that they can help you with. Um, and they will also um, show you signs that you would think, oh, this is the guy for me, right? So, for example, like little things like you go to a restaurant, they pull out the chair for you, you know, a woman would think, oh my gosh, he's such a gentleman, and the meantime, the man is thinking, okay, like I'm gonna take her for a ride, kind of thing, right? So I find
So they
that
do this intentionally.
some do this
Okay.
intentionally,
Okay.
and again, it stems from what we were talking about yesterday. So it's like, you know, maybe they're insecure, maybe they dealt with the past, something to deal with the past, obviously. Um, so these are kind of like, a little, I don't want to say red flags, but it's just something to be aware of, right? You know, I also think that, you know, I had this conversation with somebody a couple days ago too, where they were saying, at what point in a relationship do you start talking about sexual stuff, right? Now, sexuality is a bonding thing, right? So once
Yeah.
you're intimate with somebody, and you've shared an experience, that takes it to another level,
Yep.
regardless,
Yep.
right? Now, if you have no intentions of taking it to that next level with that person, then you shouldn't be sexual with them.
Exactly. Because it's an intertangling mingling of energies.
Exactly. And it's also a recipe for disaster, right?
Yes.
Because there are some women out there that they think that if a man is sexual with them, that they're in love with them. A lot of people misinterpret, sex and love, or they
Could you
interpret.
please elaborate that, please, this morning?
So So just because a man doesn't, so just because a man has sex with a woman does not necessarily mean that they're in love with them. However, um, the whole purpose of being sexual is two bonds joining, right? So this is why in the Bible, I don't want to bring up religion or anything, but excuse me, but in the Bible it says that, no man should lay with a woman if she's not his wife, right? So when people start bonding in that manner, then it starts to go to another level. So to kind of break it open a little bit more, um, this is why when men try to manipulate women for sexual pleasure, if the woman is a very strong character, it can damage her. That can totally change the perception of what she wants, right? So she can be like, okay, I thought this man loved me and I thought he was the world, and now he kind of stole my intimacy. So this is how I think we get into this world where, a lot of women start, saying like, you know what, my heart is broken now, so screw this relationship thing. I'm just gonna go and plant my seeds wherever I can. I'm just gonna have fun. I'm gonna take revenge. Basically, what it is they're taking revenge out
Mhm.
on their personal self, right? They're mad at
Yeah.
themselves for committing to this person, and oh, I should have known. I should have known. When in reality, you can't know because our a man's intention is not going to be real. Like if it's real, that's a different story. But if a
But
man,
how can you tell if a man's intentions are real or not?
well, like I said, if it's not just about the strict, like if it has to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Trans-dimensional, if that makes any sense, right?
Oh, it does
So,
to me.
okay, so there's more than one dimension, right? So, you know, you can meet somebody and, one day you guys could go to a movie, right? The next day you can go for a walk, the next day you can, I don't know, learn something together, whether it be like, cooking a dish together, or learning how to put together a table. Like just little simple things that once you do together, and you get it's an interpersonal thing too, right? Like you're
Hmm.
getting more understanding of the personality of that person. You're understanding now that this person is able to do certain things, and then as you see how they do certain things, you can apply them to certain other things. So for example, you could see a man putting a table together, and if he's gentle with it, he's doing it gently. Oh, okay, there's a chance that this man might be gentle with me, right? If he's very, aggressive and he gets mad very easily, oh, well, it's possible that this man could just snap at me at any time. You know what I mean? So a lot of people don't pay attention to these things, right? They just think like, oh, it's just him. So um, changes in behavior is another thing that that women need to look at in men, because
Can I ask you something specific that my heart wants to ask you right now? Okay, let's say that you're in a relationship with a man and there has been sex and there has been everything, but then all of a sudden the sex stops and there's months of no connection. How do you see that? Now, do you see that as something worth trying to fix? Or at that point, does a woman walk away? Because a
very,
man is going to keep it going as long as possible for his own benefit of the whole situation.
that is correct.
And he will do whatever he has to do and say whatever he has to say to keep that bond.
That's
But
very that
if there's no real bond in fundamentally, or the bond has been broken fundamentally, do you believe that that's something that can be fixed, or that's something that you need to just discard and walk away from?
very good question. So again, so man and women are very different emotionally. And I think that a lot of people really don't understand to what extent. Like it's very intense in the sense that um so you have a man that, you know, let's say he just went through, I don't know, like I don't want to get too like too extreme, but it's like, let's
Get
say they lose
extreme.
their job. Okay, so let's say they lose their child, right? And they're dealing with, devastation, their emotions are just whatever, right? Now, you come into the picture and they're very quiet, they're very distant, they don't really say much. You try to engage with them, they're kind of standoffish. You try to be intimate with them, they're like they're
But
telling
that's
you that.
understandable. But what if you're in the relationship already and then a crisis happens, the disconnection happens? That's where I want you to address it. Like you're already in the relationship. Now, yes, losses and tragedy and shit happens. But like we mentioned, you either grow together or you grow apart. Now, let's see, for instance, a couple has been in a growing relationship, evolving, healing, doing the work, but then there's something that happens that forces them to no longer grow together. It has forced separation. It has forced a fork in the road. Now, do you believe there's a possibility of a rejoining, or do you believe, because at this point there's going to be panic, fear, denial, shame, and all of the other stuff that plays a huge part of it? What do you do with something like that where you've been connected with somebody and there a disconnection has been forced into it, and you both don't feel even the need to reconnect? So at that point,
Yeah.
it
So,
becomes a
it's
space sharing situation,
yeah,
nothing more, nothing less, which is very hindering for one another's evolution of a being.
Absolutely.
So where do
Yeah.
we go with that?
Okay. So I've been there, and honestly, what you just did there was you explained the definition of ghosting.
Of what?
So, ghosting. You ever heard of ghosting? Like when somebody gets ghosted?
Oh, I've heard of it, but it's never happened to me.
Okay. So yeah, so I think it's just that, at some point, you know, and it happens, what they say, it happens in marriages too. It's like, at some point, you try to work out something, and you're working at it, and you're not getting anywhere. You're not progressing further, right? So the logical answer is that, you know, if you can if you can do something to better the situation, and it's something as simple as opposed to something complicated, and it works, then yes, it's worth to keep that going. But if you're it's like putting water in a flood, right? So it's like, if you're trying to you're going all out of your way to try to tell this to make it work with this person, and the person's just being like, no, it's not gonna work, whatever. Sometimes you just have to write it off.
You
Like,
know what? I think a lot of women get stuck in these situations because we understand the difference of loving somebody genuinely or being in love with somebody. There's
mhm,
two different aspects there. A mother or a woman has a nurturing, mothering type of aspect. So, as
right,
shitty as the situation is, they always want to do better, like for the situation, to mother it, to nurture it, to not
that's right.
give up on it, but there comes a point that people have to realize that unless if they're just in that state of, oh, okay, well, I love this person, I care about them, whatever, but it's not doing me any good,
Hmm.
that they need to slowly remove themselves from that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It becomes a toxic thing, and then it also becomes like a scar on somebody's life, right? Like,
It does, because I know that personally, for a woman's aspect of all of that, we start to question ourselves. Okay, why is he not engaging with me anymore? Why we start to be filled with self-doubt. We start denying ourselves of the simplest, happiest pleasures because
right.
we start creating shame and guilt and denial, and then we we doubt our every move, we doubt our every action, you know? And that's really unhealthy. And it
It is.
happens to us all because it's
Right.
happened to me.
Hmm.
So I understand it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to talk about it like this, because
Oh yeah.
women who seem to think they're so in love with whatever situation they're in, but they're not. And they're
Blinded.
actually in love with the hell of it, and that's their comfort, which is a whole other topic. But
Yeah.
let's go
They're
on.
blind. Yeah. So they're just blinded, and they're in their, I don't want to say they're in their comfort zone, but it's just easier for them to stay in it than to get out of it and repair themselves and then go into another thing, right?
Because of the fear of starting over and the fear of having to have the shame and the denial and feeling like a failure because the relationship didn't work.
Yeah. And it's more so the possibility of it happening again. And this
Yes.
is this is the fine line, right? Because that's where the healing has to take place. That's where, the you have to accept what I was talking about yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, but it's like when you after a relationship, you sit down and you process, okay, why didn't this work? You look at all the things, and this is why you do that, so that you're giving yourself notes, if you want to put it that way. You put
Yeah.
down notes saying like, okay, so I don't do this, and I didn't do this in the last relationship. Maybe I should do this in the next one, or, oh, I keep doing the same thing and
But
getting the
how
same.
many people really do that, Wendell? Honestly, in today's relationships, everybody who's got a sour relationship or a not so healthy relationship, they sit there and they blame the other person for everything.
Right.
There's no accountability for themselves. It's like they never stop to look and say, I fell short of grace, or I could have been more understanding, or I could have been more patient, or, they're always consistently blaming the other person without taking any accountability for anything, because it
Yeah.
takes two in that relationship, right?
That's right.
So if you're both coming to table, you can't just watch what the other person is serving you to eat. You better
Yeah.
watch what the hell you're bringing to the table too.
That's right. That's right. And it's funny because, when I was doing, well, I mean, I'm still doing it, but, when I first started getting into like the relationship dynamic of this coaching thing, you know, I, 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 I said, you know what, let me Google some stuff. So I kind of Googled some stuff, and, you know, they all came with the not the exact same answer, but it was kind of like the same kind of idea. So what they're saying was, there's 5 rules in a relationship. The first one is to stay faithful, whether to yourself or to the other person. The second rule was, if you can't make your partner feel wanted, it's not going to happen. The third one was respect your partner and trust your partner. So that's automatic. We both know that one. And then this one was kind of interesting because it said, don't flirt with others, right? Now, I was like, okay, so why would that be in there when
That's
it's
huge.
no brainer? This is what I'm saying. It's a
That's
no brainer.
huge because you're causing insecurities in your partner, because
Or
those
within,
energies should be directed to your partner and nobody else.
but it's also within yourself though, because if
Yes.
you dirty in yourself with your partner, you wouldn't want to talk to anybody else, right?
There you go. Your eyes won't be wandering when you're happy at home. Simple.
Exactly. Very simple. And then the last one was make time. And I think this is what the like, when you were talking about, everybody, they were afraid to watch the video because, of their personal stuff. But I think that is probably the main issue as to why they probably did not want to take place. Because when you make time, okay, everybody's afraid of time right now because of what's going on.
Yeah.
We're getting older, and also things are being created like daily on time efficiency. But it's like this. So if I'm gonna make dinner, right? So I have to put water on the stove, right, to start it to boil. That takes time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Then I gotta season my stuff. That
Yeah.
takes
You
time.
got to prep.
Then I gotta fry my stuff. That takes time. Then I gotta let it cool down
Yeah.
because that takes time too. And then I'm finally eating. So all those things that I had to do to get to that point, what took a lot of time. Now, let's twist this into a relationship aspect. So now you meet somebody, right? You meet somebody, you're interested. Now you want to talk to them. You exchange numbers. Now you want to see them. You go on dates, 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 dates. Now you want to see if they're intimate. You get intimate with them. Now you're in a relationship. Now you're going together. You're still learning about the person. You're
Yeah.
going, going, going. This is now that time is compressed because you've done so many things in such a short time, and now you believe that, okay, this person is the person,
Hmm.
but you haven't really given it enough time because
Exactly.
you need that time to kind of just discuss things. Like
Yes.
me personally, when before I get involved with somebody, I am talking to them at least for a month. At
Yeah. But how
least.
many people, though, that get, okay, they embark on this relationship thing. And then
Mhm.
it's the same aspect about not taking accountability. Okay. Because look, they're sitting there and it's new, it's fresh, it's exciting, it's discovery. Okay. But it's all that external focus. Because how many women or people that embark on these relationships take the time to stop and say, how is this making me feel?
Yep, it's
Right?
true.
And what are these thoughts that are being produced within myself while I'm living this?
Yeah,
And if we could all take that pause moment
that's
in the
awesome.
prep time, like you're talking about, it would
Huge.
change the dynamics of everything.
Absolutely. Like I'll tell you, in my job, like I was saying, I do safety and all that stuff, right? So there's this one saying that they have, and it's funny because when I was doing the training and I was reading it, I was like, holy cow, like I can this is a general thing, and then I can also implement this into my thing.
Yes.
So it's a when you do a hazard assessment, right? You
Yeah.
have to stop, look, and listen.
Yes.
So when you're in, so now I'm flipping this now, right? So now I'm in a relationship and I'm starting to notice certain things. So now I have to stop.
That's right.
I stop and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Now I look,
Yes.
see, oh, there might be some kind of an issue here going on. Moving forward, you know what? From this point on, now I'm going to start to listen and hear and see if I can pick up what that issue is. A lot of people don't do that.
No.
They get into a relationship, there's an issue, they're like, okay, that's just one little issue. And then they just continue going into the relationship and then wondering why the train came off the tracks like 10 miles down the road,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So very important. It's
But
very
that's
important.
why I encourage everybody all the time, no matter what, that time before you react, that time that you take to just pause, stop. It is so important. It's it changes everything. Because we all fly off the handle with thoughts and feelings and reactions and actions towards others as if they're not a part of us. But we're all connected. So we got to actually, it stems down to that being really okay. You got to focus internally and say, whoa, watch what I'm giving my power to, first of all. Watch how I'm projecting my power. Watch what is actually triggering me to feel certain ways. And yeah, if people can start to be loving in all that they say and do, a lot of the intentions will be fixed. A lot of the reactions will be fixed. The communion of people will come together in a loving way instead of a manipulative way.
I
It
agree.
all matters.
Oh, and another thing, like just to kind of add to that is, you know, I think most of the issue is with knowing your worth, right? So, some people kind of downgrade themselves in a sense. When I say downgrade themselves, I mean like, they know what they should be getting. They know what they're capable
Because
of getting.
they've been made to believe that.
Yeah.
They
But
haven't yet gotten over the fact that their belief systems have been programmed into them.
yeah, and it also could be blinders too, right? Because again,
Yes.
the past has a lot to do with a lot of people. Okay, let me rephrase that. So a lot of people have a tendency of using the past as their um, reference point, right?
And
So
excuse.
and excuse, right?
Oh, I'm like this because of this. Oh, you mean you can't get over yourself?
Exactly. Oh boy. So where was I going with this now? So
Sorry to throw you off, Wendell.
no, no, it's okay. It's okay. So it's like, yesterday when, everybody was kind of like moved by what was going on and stuff, right? And I can relate to that. I can relate to that because sometimes, yeah, you know what? Life does get heavy, And you know what? Sometimes when you look in the mirror, you think that you're looking at somebody and in reality, you're looking at someone that's totally different that you probably never even met before, right?
Yes.
So we all go through changes on a regular basis. Now the question is, do we control those changes or do those changes control us?
There you go. And how are you living your life? Are you living your life from reacting to it, or are you being the cause of your experience? And this
Yeah,
is where the shift has to happen.
exactly.
But I'm still mastering that. I've done a self mastery course, graduated from it, but I'm still mastering that.
Yeah,
And it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. But you got to be vigilant with it every single day and not give up on it, because the belief systems are so powerful that they will suck you back into that negative way of thinking, because that's the easiest way to operate for your subconscious brain.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny because not to go off topic, but just to
No,
to
speak your
reiterate,
mind, speak your heart.
you know, I had some company here yesterday and we were just like, talking and stuff and she brought up she's like, I saw your video with that Toby lady, and I started laughing and I was just like, yes, and what did you think about that, And she's like, oh, she's just fire, she's fierce, like she's just, she's energetic, and I see her eyes are always open, and she's very excited and passionate, and I said, yeah, I said, this is what it is, so I said, so we were talking about something else, but she brought that up, and I just kind of curved it back to say, like, this is what it is. Like, I'm at this point in my life where, I need to start moving, not moving forward, because I mean, I'm already progressing, but I mean, this is a point in my life where I have to kind of get into that downshift mode where it's like, okay, the hustle bustle and the 9 to 5 and the, bills, rent, car payment, this, you gotta.
So, yeah, you're basically ready to embrace your greatness and work within your loving purpose on the planet,
Exactly.
which is going to fuel time and money freedom for you, and which is going to give you a creative power in you where you won't be harnessed to everything else you've lived. You're
And
ready for that.
ready because when I got that friend request from you, and I was just like, okay, I'm like, who is this person? And then I went on your page and I saw that, you had your, excuse me, you had your website up there, and I was just like, hmm, interesting. And I really like the name kind of really, it drew me towards, right? Because it's just real. That's, what matters most. It's like, what does matter most? I'm like,
It's you matter the most. And you know
right.
what? I had to realize, you know where that name came from? Is I
That,
had to own and accept that about myself
hmm, okay.
for the first time in my life.
Oh, interesting.
And that's why it's driven with infinite unconditional love and a force to make an impact, because I had to come to the realization that, hey, I'm no better than anybody on this planet, but I matter just as much.
You do. Absolutely do. Yeah. So, and then, that first video we had, and it was just like that first video, I'll honestly say, like, that was something else.
We
I think
popped the cherry.
I think I here's something else. I think that video, I think I talked about that video all day. And I remember like going to some of my friends on my friends, and they're like, "Did you watch that video?" And they're like, "Yeah, like what was that about?" I'm like, "Oh, I said, I'm not gonna tell you. You're gonna have to go and watch it. You're gonna have to share it, and you're gonna really, because that video is just the start of something. Because I wasn't really like expecting that from you, right? Like I was just thinking that, okay,
I always bring the unexpected. You can expect that. That's just
uh,
what I do.
yeah.
Toby is
Oh,
the farthest thing from predictable.
that's freaking funny. And then I noticed also that we had a lot of friends in common. So that was another thing too. And then you brought up what's his name? Mr. Earl, the Pearl there. And then I was like, okay, okay, right? But then I was like, it's funny because sometimes you're receptive to people, right? And when you're receptive to people, you have to kind of, and maybe people who are watching can kind of relate to this too. But when you're receptive to people, people have a tendency of thinking that just because I'm receptive to someone means that they're receptive to me, right?
Uh-huh.
When
Yeah, that's true.
when in actuality, they can play the role. They can play the role like, oh yeah, I understand what you're saying. And then the minute you turn your back, they're like, what the heck is this guy talking about, right?
Yeah.
You know, and then you
But
get
that
lost
doesn't
in
happen here. There's a flow here. So it's all
oh,
blessings.
no, there's definitely a flow here. That's why like I was very like humbled and honored that you wanted me to kind of join your thing there, right? And it was funny because I think like it was a this is why I keep saying I think this is a divine intervention because just at that time, I was just talking to somebody and they're like, "So, what's going on with your life coaching thing?" I'm like, actually, you know what? I said, "Right now I'm kind of focusing on my job because that's all I could do right now is just focus on my job, right?" And they're like, yeah, you really need to get this moving, like you're not getting any younger. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, okay, okay, you know what? I'll talk to you later now. And then I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? Like, yeah, I
You
am.
see what you just did right there about, yeah, yeah, I'll talk to you about it later? That's the same thing you're feeling by others that don't want to make changes in their life.
I get it.
Perfect example. So I
Right.
want you to see the correlation of that, because exactly how that played out, and you know how that feels. You didn't want
Yeah.
to have to deal with it.
Right.
Okay? This
Yep.
is where, now understanding this
Mm-hmm.
correlation, you're going to
Yep.
be able to get through to all of those that are doing that to you.
Yes, I get it now. So go ahead, continue. Continue.
Okay? No, I'm feeding it back to you. I just wanted you to click
Yeah.
those two together, because that's going to push you past the limitation of that.
Hmm. Okay.
Because
Okay.
now you're going to be more creative in the
Yeah.
way of your approach,
Right.
because you feel and you know what it feels like when you're just not up for that discussion.
Right. Right. Thanks for that. That was powerful right there. That was powerful. Yeah. So, um,
So yeah,
with
you were asked about the life coaching. You put it on. You were like, okay, how many minutes you got left, Wendell?
I got about 40 minutes. Not sorry, not yeah, about 20, 25 minutes,
All
maybe
right,
30.
perfect. Okay, yeah. So you were brushing it off, telling him basically. I just want to go back to your story you were telling, that you
Yeah.
you were just like, yeah, put it on hold. Kind of, you were focusing on your job.
Right. So, and then what ended up happening was, as I started focusing on my job, I was kind of seeing all of a sudden this opportunity that was coming. So then I said, oh, okay, so I understand it now. So sometimes what happens is we want to do everything, right?
Yeah.
Especially people who are like not struggling but really having it hard, you know, they'll do whatever, the committed ones will do whatever they have to do to keep their head above water, right? Some people, like I have friends that are doing three jobs right now, which is ridiculous. I have people that are going to school and working, and when I talk to them, I can hear the drain in their energy,
Because they're
and
not doing what they love.
well, yes, that's true because it's more it's more doing what you have to do instead of doing what you enjoy,
Yeah, but
right?
that's the thing, that where the hugest problem is. Anything that is not filling you with life is taking from your life. It's as simple as that. So if you're going to a job that you don't like, if you're putting through yourself through a program of school that you don't love, you are cutting your experience short.
Right.
Nobody should be directed to work hard, to be, listen, we have the creative capacity
That's true.
to apply the law of least effort and flourish in any creative sense, no matter what it is, okay? If you're doing what you love. But you
That
need
is
to have clarity about what you love in order to be able to apply that to your life.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely right. Because I mean, like, you know, just to kind of reiterate with myself, right? So when I was younger, I was always fascinated by, medical stuff and, forensic science and that sort of stuff. So I always wanted to do like radiology because, I found bones very interesting. Just the fact that we have so many in our body that have
Uh-huh.
all different kind of stuff, right? But then I came to the realization that I had to take a specific math that I was struggling with. And at the time, I didn't think to say, like, okay, you know what? I really don't like this math thing. It's really hard. Let me really try to understand it because that's how bad I want to be a radiologist, right? I never got to that point when I was young. I was just like, oh, it's not for me. So I'm going to just do something else, right?
Okay.
There's a couple times where, I looked at my situation and I said, if I was a radiologist right now, like all these problems that I would be having financial problems, I wouldn't be having them because I'd be making a decent salary. But who am I to say that, right? It could have been something else. Maybe it wasn't in the cards for me to be a radiologist. Because some people think that they know what they want to do when really the energy tells you what you want to do, what you have to do.
You know what? I can elaborate on that a little bit in my own situation. I really wanted to be a nurse
Oh,
because of
really?
the situation. Yeah, I really wanted to be a nurse. And I went to John Abbott College and I studied nursing. And I finished and completed 2 years of the nursing out of the 3-year program with
Oh, nice.
flying colors. Like I'm honor roll marks, no problem. But then I had a car accident, which
Oh,
shut all that down for me because my immune system stopped working. So no longer could I go back into the medical field to work, but I had to also stay away from as much infection as possible. And that's a part of my immune system not working and all of this stuff was I was heading for the completion of a nursing program.
wow.
1 year away from being a registered nurse. I didn't go for a orderly or a PAB I went straight for that 3-year program. But Energies had a bigger plan for me.
That's crazy. That is crazy. I
And
did a
ever
P.
since then, I became the patient.
Jeez.
You see, the roles got reversed because ever since that car accident, I my immune system doesn't work properly. I
Mm.
can't be as effective as I would have liked to be, but nursing is a part of my genetics. There are so many people in my family that are nurses or
Yeah,
teachers.
same here. Yeah, same here. My mom, both
So
my.
yeah, it's a part of my genetics. Like my great aunt was one of the, or my great great aunt was one of the first at St. Mary's Hospital here who did the whole nursing school there and was a huge, but like, and even on my dad's side, like there's just a whole bunch of nurses in my genetic line.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to do that. That was my gift. That's what I love to do is help people. I love to do that. I
So
thought I was working towards my purpose.
let me ask you this, because now I get a chance to kind of hit
Yeah,
you back. Hey, you
for
hit
sure.
me there.
For
So
sure.
don't you find it a little, I don't know, auspicious, if you will, or maybe not auspicious, but do you find it a little bit weird that you had this desire to be a nurse and now it was like the energy put you in a situation where you had to see yourself on the outside kind of thing, if you understand what I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
like from being the nurse to the patient, that that transformation.
You know
And then
why can I explain the understanding of that? Listen, when I was a student nurse and when I was going through my nursing, and because I am who I am, I caused a lot of ripples in the medical system. I went head to head with doctors to change prescriptions, to govern themselves accordingly, to not deal with the patients that I had in my care the way that they were. I caused
just
a lot of problems in the medical system.
see.
The biggest thing that I wished during my experience of learning how to be a nurse was I wished for doctors to have a learning experience that would ultimately change their life. Well, I wished it a little bit too hard into existence because I became that learning.
Well,
The microbiologist who dealt with my case in the intensive care, who followed me for years, retired after my ICU visit, said, Toby, you have just proven my 44 years of medical knowledge out the door because I gave you 16 hours to live. Your kidneys did not work anymore. Your heart was going to explode. Your liver was shutting down. I told you you would not have a kidney transplant should you need one. I told you you weren't coming out of here unless in a body bag. You proved me wrong. I can't do this anymore.
wow.
So, yeah, I became the lesson to all of these doctors that I wished for them.
That's crazy.
So I kind of see it for what it is. And because since my accident, I have taught every single doctor that I've ever come in contact with. I have blown their concepts and their belief systems and everything that they've learned out of the water.
Wow. Okay.
So that's why that happened. I get it now. I had to be that learning that I so badly wanted for these people that were dead stuck in these wrong ways. But I embrace that. I'm good with that. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I can see that. You know,
Like,
and good on you. It's good on you because when you tell people, because I've noticed that too with myself. It's like when people are going through stuff, right? And you see their Facebook posts and all, F life, and I'm tired of this, and I'm struggling, and why does this always happen to me? And oh, I swear, like I'm bad luck or whatever. So these are the people that I go after, like Red at the Juggler, and I'm like, hey, you know, don't speak this stuff into existence. Like, do not
exactly.
stuff for the world to see, because what happens is that you have haters out there, and they see this stuff and they're like,
Yes, of
right?
course.
Like,
Of
oh,
course.
look,
Yes.
person offering. Ooh, this is so great. So then now what that does is that builds up their evil energy,
Of course.
and,
They feed off of that energy that they're drawing from you.
and they get more powerful. So now they're like, well, if I could do that to one person, maybe I could do it to two, to three, to four, to five, to six, to 100, right? And
Yeah.
it's a very hard pit, to fall to get out of. It's kind of like, some people are in like a hole in the ground with like the walls are made of like wax and Vaseline and oil and everything that they're trying to get out, and they're
Yeah.
just not getting
But what's
anywhere.
creating that reaction is their thoughts to all of it.
Exactly. Exactly.
The
So
why I can get through all of this is because I don't allow myself to think. Honestly, that's not even a joke. The place of my memory bank of my subconscious brain, like I mentioned in the early live, it's full of trauma. It's full of tragedy. It's full of loss. It's full of grief. It's full of fear, anger, resentment, hatred, all the bad things, right? So I don't allow myself in that place. I have to stay in my heart
and trust
because
me.
my heart is loving and it's fueling me for this existence.
And it's funny because I remember the last time, I don't know if it was the last, no, it wasn't the last video, it was a video before, where I kind of wanted to tap into you a little bit just to see like, what was going on with you. And I remember you like really opened up, and I was like, okay, and I really got to see the how can I say this? I really got to see like the root of you as a person. And then I said, okay, that's what it was. Because I was seeing you as this big energetic person, and you're always like, live and and very like I don't want to say vulgar, but you're just like direct, and like you
I'm
said earlier,
real.
you're real and you just don't care, right? Like you don't care what people have to say. You don't care what people's thoughts don't really matter.
Actually, I care enough
Oh, you care, but
to
sorry.
ignite thought. So if I got to catch attention like that, I will. No problem. Bring it on.
Oh
I
my
can
God.
handle it. Can you?
It's funny because like, again, like I work with people in the industry that, they've been there a long time. So they think they know every single thing. Like you can't tell them nothing. Hey, buddy, you're doing that wrong. Oh, no, no, no. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for years. Don't tell me that I'm doing my job wrong, kind of thing. Right. And then I just sit and I watch, and then, something happens, and then they're like, oh, and then I'm like, you said you were doing it right. So I'm just going to leave you be. And then you have 50% of those type of people that'll come to you and say, hey, thanks for watching my back there, because if the big cheese saw that, I probably would have lost my job.
Yeah.
Then the other 50% that are like, you're kind of new to this business, so don't ever, ever come and tell me how to do my job again. Otherwise, I will talk to your supervisor and get you off site, kind of thing, right? So I deal
But
with this
listen to what people are telling you because they're telling you their state of being, eh? Because as
exactly,
long as people are talking to you like that, they're not enlightened beings.
exactly.
An
And
enlightened being knows that learning never ends and that you don't know it all.
this is why I go in there, I do my job, and then I peace out, and that's it. It's like I do what I have to do. And like I said, like this thing here is really like, this is my calling, this is my passion, like the oil and gas stuff is okay, it's okay for now, but at the end of the day, you know, I want to change lives, I want to make people realize I, I can't heal everybody. I get that.
Yeah, but you are making people realize. Don't
But
say that you want to be talking as if there's a lack of, because there's no lack of. You are showing up and you are making changes. Everybody that sits here and listens to us, whether they're going to openly admit it or not, is feeling the effects of it. And that's a good thing, because that's why we're doing it.
that's right. Yeah.
So speak in present terms, because you are making a change. You
And even
really
this
are.
even this in itself, it's self-therapeutic too, right? Because I mean,
For sure.
not to say that, I'm damaged or anything, but I'm not perfect either. Like I know I
Well,
have
I'll proudly say that I am very damaged goods. I've got all of the fucking stickers, warning, 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 warning. Okay? And I'm proud to say it. But I am healing and I'm fixing myself.
mm,
And I'm owning that. But yes, I am the poster child for fucked up if I'm in my brain. Okay? But that
wow.
doesn't stop me from being an unconditionally loving person to myself and the world primarily. And I think I owe it to myself to be that way. Okay?
Wow,
So,
absolutely.
like, that's how real I am with my stuff, Wendell.
I get it. I get it.
But my learning is real.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important that as I learn, I share to help others learn. And our unique situations are so unique to our individual beings that people are going to take whatever they are going to take from it and use it and apply it to their life in their way.
Mm,
You
yeah.
see, I don't have any set way of how I'm insistent on how it has to be. No, the only thing that I'm insistent of is I have to be loving in all that I say and I do,
Mm,
which being real and remaining real is being loving to everybody,
that's
no
true.
matter how it comes out.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely
And
true.
I'm learning. I am learning. I'm learning how to put all the pieces back together. I'm learning how to heal everything. I am learning how to get past all of the belief systems that were planted there. I'm not exempt from all of this stuff. It doesn't matter how enlightened I am or how I see things. I'm not exempt from that. And neither is anybody else.
That's true.
But as long
Yep.
as we don't feel alone, I think that's key.
That is
And as
key.
long as we come out and we talk about stuff, because you and I, we can talk about stuff. Other people can't. They're so ashamed of it. And so that's where, you know what? I don't have any shame left to bring forward. I'm not shameful
No,
because I am so in love with myself and with healing myself. I'm ready. Bring it on.
I have two people that they kind of, I guess they kind of use me as their kind of what's a perfect word to describe? It's kind of like their go-to, right? Or
Okay.
I'm like their sponge, right? So, they'll call me and they'll talk about stuff, and then it always gets them emotional. They start crying. Like, okay, Wendell, I gotta let you go. I can't do this. And I'm like, okay, no, I totally understand. Go do what you gotta do. Wish you the best on your healing. Do what you gotta do. So they hang up the phone, and then they'll message me and be like, oh, I can't stop crying, and I'm just like, okay, but this is how it is. This is your emotional bubble that just you know
Yeah.
like some people think that it's not okay to cry, right?
You
Like
have to cry.
it's
You
part
have
of
to
your
cry.
nature.
You have to.
It's part of your
You
human
have
nature.
to. You know what happens to the body if you hold that in? No, you don't want to do that. Anything that you feel gurgling, you got to let out. No matter what it is, you got to let it out. And you got to forgive yourself for feeling like that. And you got to rewrite the script, because if you don't, that's where the scars come from.
Right. That's right.
I encourage people to cry. It washes your soul.
Yeah, me too. And like, I have actually, I think what I'm gonna start doing is I'm just gonna start sending out like invites to certain people, like not to come live or anything, but like just to kind of really dig deep and look into that what matters most thing, because like, you know, I I I've been always looking to be involved in like wellness, you know. So the first time when I started
Well,
looking
you're
at,
involved in it now, must.
no, when I first started doing this course, I was actually, while I was doing the course, I was looking into stuff, right? At first, I was looking at trying to start my own, but then I was like, at that time, I didn't really have the support system that I have now. But I was just kind of like, you know what? I just kind of brushed it to the side, to be honest. I just brushed it to the side, and I was too busy dealing with other issues too, like
Too
um,
distracted.
exactly, exactly.
Happens
It's
to the best of us.
yeah, it's like I had an ex-girlfriend who was like always sick, always feeling whatever, and one minute she's like, "Oh yeah, go for it, I support you," and da 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 da. And then the next minute, it's like, "Oh, well, why are you taking up so much time on doing that when you should be spending time with me?" Then I'm just like, "Okay, I can't do both, right? I can't do both." Needless to say, like that didn't last long, but you know, so like people need to understand that life is not an easy life, right?
Oh.
And we're gonna fail. We're gonna do things in our life that we're gonna look back at later on and be like, "Oof, what the hell was I thinking?"
If you don't
What?
fail, you don't learn.
And that's it. It's a
You
hard
have
level.
to.
Yeah. So it's like fail, learn. No, sorry. So it's succeed, fail, succeed, learn, fail, believe, fail, and learn, right? So it's like this constant chain of a repetition, because people were like, "Oh, why do I keep repeating this cycle?"
You
That's
know
the
what?
that's
You know what I
the
like to classify success or failure as?
hmm,
Whether
I'm listening.
you've accepted the learning. So you've either been successful at accepting your learning or you failed at accepting your learning. And that's it.
Interesting.
It's crazy, eh? But that I
Yeah.
keep it simple.
Life you have to these days. In this life, you have to keep it simple. You know, it doesn't pay to go all out. Or try to live the perfect life, because there is no perfect life. There isn't.
Not
Right.
in the where not in the on the planet that we live on. Not with everything that's happening in this world, no. But we can have a perfect experience of it all if we're coming from a different mindset of focusing inside.
Best of the
That we
worst.
can. And I believe that. No matter what's happening. Yeah, my situation's not perfect. My circumstance is imperfect, but my experience right now is.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Seriously. Like, I wouldn't wish it any different right now. And I love doing what I'm doing. I love exploring. I love learning. And I love building what we're building. Honestly. So for me, I am doing what I am passionate about.
Yeah, because the thing was, my issue actually, now that you brought this up, and I remember now. So the issue that I had with the website was that it was asking me for a password or something, and I didn't have a password to get into the website. And then you sent me something in Gmail stating that you're like, okay, everything's up there. You now have access to the site. So when I went back onto the site, I thought I was able to just like go in, like there was no login, there was no password, no, nothing, right? So I started doing like what you said. I saw the first one with the lady at the
Okay,
top.
what it asked you though about it, as I'm wondering if when you go on the website, it asks you to become a member. It asks you to log in and become a member of the site so that it's for everybody, so that we know who's hitting the site. So you might have to go in there with your email and whatever and set you up as a member, because even myself, being the owner and founder of the site, I had to do that. So
So that okay,
I did that, but then there's another part of subscribe on there. Okay, now you can go in there and you can do whatever, but now that the changes have been made, but are you looking at it from a phone or a desktop?
I'm looking at it. It's funny because I was gonna check it on my desktop last night, but I just
The
got too busy.
desktop is going to give you a total different presentation. The phone is what, yeah, the first screen that you see on your phone is going to be that stuff, unless you hit the 3 lines at the top to give you a drop menu to take you to the home page. I noticed that the other night, actually last night when I was doing the work on it. So, hey, Wendell, I think I lost you, buddy. Anyway, I think I lost you, Wendell. So look, I'll wrap up the live then, because I think that I've lost Wendell already. He's dropped it. Look, I'd love for you guys all to go and check out the new and great stuff that I've added to the website. I've just rewritten the homepage. I have introduced the team. There's 5 pictures, 5 people up there. There's a couple of blurbs to come on the staff. But I've also included an affiliate section underneath our team where I have indicated 2 people that their work is outstanding and that I encourage and I promote their work to anybody who hits our website. That You Matter the Most may not be a fit for you guys, no problem. It's not a competition out here in the world of change. Okay, I want to empower anybody's efforts that are out there making a change and doing good for the world. So I have put up, as affiliates on my website, I have put up Natalia Jansen, who's a dream builder. She's certified to teach life mastery. And I've also put up Linda Duncanson, who is energy psychology. And she's outstanding. And I have personally done energy work with her. And this is why I promote her business. If you guys go to the website and you see the pictures of either women that are the affiliates and not a part of our team, click on their picture. It will take you directly to their webpage. Get all the information and the resources that are available to you while you have them, okay? I love you all. Get the most out of your day. Wendell, love you too, bro. Have a great day. I see that we've cut out, so I'm going to wrap up today. Get the most out of your day. Remember, you're fueled by infinite, unconditional love, okay? You are love and light on this planet primarily, before anything else, okay? Step into your power. Stay in your truest nature. Find your center. Don't let things trigger you. Any limitation, get creative. Push past it, okay? You have the means to do that. Any obstacle that comes your way, hey, evolve, grow, wise up and rise up out of the situation. All right? I love you all. Get the most out of your day. Check out the website, and there's many advancements to come. I'm going to head over to the website now and do some more changes. All right? Get the most out of your day. I love you all. Peace.